Hello, my name is Holly Tokarzik, and I'm a first grade teacher at Greenville County School District in South Carolina. Today, we are going to discuss the importance and benefit of implementing podcasts in the general education classroom. We are also going to unveil how it benefits both teachers and students. Today, we are going to explore an implementation plan and timeline that you can integrate within your school today. Thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. For today's presentation, the following objectives will be explored: the rationale, the project goals, the implementation, and the timeline. Let's begin with the rationale. Why podcasts? Research says that podcasts boost student learning and teacher effectiveness. They increase rigor for existing curriculum and meet the needs of the modern student. Podcasts provide opportunity to learn through innovative technology, and they reach a wide audience and offer accessibility for learning from home. With this particular podcast plan, you will be able to create a school-wide virtual library or a bank of rich academic content that can be used by both teachers and students. Research says that podcasts allow students to practice their listening comprehension of complex texts that are both conversational and formal. Students listen for longer than they'll watch or read. Podcasts offer flexibility, grasps student attention, encourages engagement, and provides supplement to instruction. And lastly, new technology is at the forefront of communication and education, and podcasts are one type that can be easily accessible for all students. Most importantly, podcasts are widely available. They can be accessed anywhere at any time. Being able to access learning through a device is incredible. We are living in a modern day and age where our students are having more access to rich academic content wherever they are. Podcasts can be used in the classroom. They can be used at home. They can be used while they're on a walk. And with the research proving that students are able to engage and listen for longer lengths of time and have strong takeaways is powerful. And that is something that us educators should not let slip by the wayside. Let's take advantage of this modern technology and this research that is proving that we can actively engage our students. And let's incorporate it and adapt our curriculum. What you see on this slide is a funnel diagram. And the main takeaway is that what you put into this podcast plan is what you're going to take out of it. In other words, the more opportunities you provide to explore, discover, create, reflect, implement, the more engagement you're going to get from your teachers and students. You have to be able to dip your toes into what a podcast is. You have to be able to offer opportunities for teachers to explore, discover, and create their own well-designed, high-quality podcasts, something that they can be proud of, something that they can reflect and collaborate with their colleagues on, opportunities to practice implementing, diving a little bit deeper into the process so that all educators and students are engaged. This really goes for the teacher side of things and the students. The more foundation you put in to the professional developments and the training, the more that you're going to benefit from implementing podcasts. So let's dive a little bit deeper and explore the roadmap. This by no means is the timeline. This is simply a visual for what is going to go into the process. We're going to start at stop one, where we're training, we are introducing podcasts, not necessarily teaching how to create one, but introducing where to find pre existing podcasts, but how to implement them in curriculum. Stop two, we're going to provide frequent professional developments to support the learning curve. This is something new for adults, but something not new for students. So, being able to explore the apps and where you can find podcasts and offering that support along the way is going to ultimately benefit this process and encourage all educators and professionals that they're supported through this world of unknown. Step three, you've got to train teachers, specialists, paraprofessionals, administrators how to create their own. They've already found pre existing podcasts, they've already tried putting them into their classroom and implementing them in instruction, but now it's time to start learning how to well design their own. Once teachers are comfortable, start introducing it to students. And as a school, collaboratively build a virtual library. Provide a bank of teacher made podcasts to supplement instruction. We are living in a day and age where virtual learning is not non existent. It is possible for students to be learning from home, whether they're on quarantine or they need to be at home because of COVID, whatever the case may be. Learning from home is the new norm. And being able to provide a bank of teacher made podcasts within that school is going to increase the authenticity of their learning and be able to allow teachers to collaborate and share the resources. And hopefully, over time, the goal here is that the wheel is not being reinvented, it's being supplemented. They're being able to create resources that are at the fingertips of our students. And of course, this is last place on our roadmap, but this is certainly not the final stop. This is a quick break where I want you to recognize the importance of celebrating all of the little victories and small successes along the way. It's a part of the drive. We are moving our way in the direction of implementing podcasts, but just remember to stop along the way and celebrate. This is not something that happens overnight. This is something that is ongoing, and it's going to be a process that you introduce and incorporate over time. So don't forget those little victories. Let's begin talking about the implementation. We've talked about the rationale, what goes into this process, but how are we going to do it? Well, for starters, if you are planning to introduce podcasts to your school at the beginning of a school year, this timeline is for you. We begin in August, we end in June, and then we regroup and start back over again for the next school year. Of course, this timeline can be modified and adapted for those who want to dive a little bit deeper and they want to start earlier, a year prior, and then really dive in the following year. Whatever works for your school, following these steps will ensure a successful integration. So if you are starting in August, training, teacher educators, your specialist, what are podcasts? What's the purpose behind it? Why are we doing this? September, offer opportunities for teachers to research and catalog podcasts that they found that are rich in content and impactful and will effectively improve instruction and offer outside support for students. October, reflect. Remember that funnel diagram we looked at? Reflection, reflection, reflection. That is a part of the process. It's not going to be perfect the whole way through. So, reflecting on what can be better, what can we improve on, what can we train is what's going to best improve this practice. By late fall, early December, teachers should be introduced to creating their own podcast, 1 to 2 tops. And going off of the reflection piece, a part of this podcast plan is encouraging teachers to listen to their colleagues' podcasts. Give that peer review, support each other along the way. By January, podcasts slowly should be integrated within that virtual library. February, they're continuing to upload. By March, professional developments need to be provided on how to teach students to design their own. This is a great opportunity for a school or a grade level to provide or conduct a hands-on learning project. Hopefully, by spring, teachers and students are feeling a little bit more comfortable. It's not so brand new and scary, and teachers are able to implement designing the podcast as a project and grading it. And by May or June, students are peer reflecting, just as the teachers did. And teachers are continuing to practice utilizing podcasts in the curriculum as a supplemental resource. As each year continues, new staff members join the team, teachers transfer, people come in with new ideas. The more experience, the more reflection. So as the years continue, I encourage you to take this timeline and adapt it to meet the needs of your school. If this timeline needs to be integrated for 2 to 3 years, just until the school is a little bit more above water, then that's great. It is a slow and productive learning curve that does not happen overnight. But it is something that if you put the legwork in today, is going to benefit your teachers, your students, and your community. I'd like to thank you for joining me on tonight's discussion on how to implement podcasts within your school. Remember, this is a introduction to podcasts, and this is something that is going to build upon year after year and have a strong beneficial impact on both your teachers and your students. I highly encourage you to explore this further and to adjust or modify the timeline or roadmap that best meets your staff. But what I can guarantee is that the implementation of podcasts as a supplement to instruction is going to be a wonderful attribute to your school. Best of luck, and thank you for joining me this evening.